Hey guys, SeanB here, and today I have a list of 10 units that I regret 6-starring because I saw this video from Bagel and I thought if I could provide another list, you would know more about a bunch of units that are just not worthy at all. You should not invest into them so that you will slow down your progression because you waste time and resources to build these units. 6-starring takes a while. Let's get right into it with the water department. First one being Reno. This guy right here. You see, ignore defense in Dice Madness, but the chance is really low. Like, I thought he would be a water Lucian, but come to us really nerf him with the chances. So most of the time he will not ignore defense that much, and even if he ignore defense, the damage is not really good.
Did we ignore defense? Is it enough? It's not enough. It's not enough, guys.
I try out this guy. I try him out multiple times. He was not very fun as a toy. The fire one, on the other hand, is really fun. Big damage, crazy tank, and a lot of stun. This guy, on the other hand, not so good as a toy even. So don't touch him. Next up, water vampire. He's a HP unit, so he only has 670 attack. That is garbage. Okay? The damage output is really bad. He has a dungeon leader that is irrelevant. You are better off building a Sigmarus for a water dungeon damage dealer. Don't build this guy ever. I made one video with him for testing purpose because they're trying to buff this skill, but no man, no, just don't do it, okay? Don't do that guy. There's some water unit here that you may think, why this guy? Why this guy? They used to serve me well in TOA, so they serve their purpose. They're not trash, but I don't regret building them. Next up, the fire department. First, we have Smokey. I thought this guy could be great in R5 with a lot of debuff, but his damage output is also very underwhelming. And then he takes a lot of skill up, very irrelevant dungeon leader skill. The boss can put attack debuff and slow debuff on you, and then he will do very mediocre damage. You're better off using a Lauren for slow and heal block, much more consistent. The AoE skill, if this thing is a debuff scaling single attack skill, he'll be very good for R5, but because it is an AoE skill, damage output is hot garbage. Number 4, Lexy, the fire assassin. I built her because I thought she would be good in the Wind Rift, but it turned out that she doesn't do a lot of damage. The branding and the armor break is really good, but because assassin is a very good family, especially the water, the dark one, so you will spend all your skill up in the water and the dark one, and then this one will have no skill up, which means the armor break chance is really low. The cooldown for the branding skill takes a while. The healing reduction from the boss doesn't stack with this, which means you actually reduce the recovery amount of the boss while not reducing the recovery amount of your team, and you also provide a damage reduction passive, which is great. But then she doesn't really do damage, and I realized that if I run a Bella and a Colleen, I have more than enough healing to not worry about damage reduction at all. Bella and Colleen can heal your Wind Rift team very easily. And then I just run 4 strong fire damage dealer, like the really strong one, like Jean, Rogue, speed scaling damage dealer like Hua, and I don't know, Trevor, Fire Monkey. There's so many strong fire damage dealer that you should put in, not Lexy. So I think she's kind of not needed for Rift, especially when they make it even easier now. So don't touch this girl. You may see her popping up in guides for Wind Rift. I don't know. Just don't. Number 5, Adrian. This guy is a Necro B10 noob trap. You thought that speed was good in Necro? You don't really need it. And then the multi-hit here and there, friend plus Lauren plus any other Ninetail is more than enough. He may be a good farmable option, but when you reach the point where you need to farm Necro, you are pretty far into the game already, because farming Necro is farming Will Runes, and Will Rune is for PvP, right? If you build 2-way rogue and you can take Lauren and friend with you, the shield is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. So you may see this guy pop up in Necro B10 newbie guy. You don't just don't build him. He's not that good. His damage output is really bad. And he's wasting time buffing when you can actually do damage and kill the boss faster. Don't do him. I build him. I rarely use him more than a week before I replace him with damage dealer. Number 6, Sin. I built him because I thought that the combo attack will proc with Violent a lot, but it turned out he doesn't seem to proc a lot. Very disappointing proc and very disappointing damage output as well. So I don't know about this guy. He doesn't tank Molong that well because Molong can Violent proc and destroy you. He doesn't even need to armor break you. The water counterpart of this thing, Tractor, is really good because he can tank Fengyan. There's not a lot of water threat in Guild defense except for Theomas and Molong. And Molong doesn't really care about your passive. Like, he's straight up just reckless and then Perdan is gonna destroy you. Theo don't hit you. So I thought this guy would be fun, but then very underwhelming. Don't. I would like to combine Igmerodon with Sin as well. Another defensive fire damage dealer, very shitty damage output. Don't build this guy. So these two combined together, okay? Next up in the wind department, I have Shifflett. She is very shit. I regret using my mermaid into her and not the fire one. I thought strip into decreased defense into increased skill cooldown is so OP, even though it's not consistent. Max skill is like 80% and 80% in this game is like 0%. It's just really inconsistent and you cannot rely on her to crush any hope. The only hope she's crushing is your hope. The shield is fine, but then in RTA the shield get weaker and weaker over time. Her base speed is garbage. So she's just not good. The fire one on the other hand is really consistent. She has heal and revive, much more versatile than Shifflett. So you have mermaid and you are deciding on which mermaid to build. I will place Tetra at the top to counter Gianna and Nephthys, and then you want to build the fire one because the fire one is like a free-to-play Ganymede, sort of. If Elusia is the free-to-play Hathor, then I think the fire mermaid is the free-to-play Ganymede, something like that. But this girl, I thought she would be the free-to-play Okeanos, but then the inconsistency really crushed my hope for this girl. Not worthy at all. Don't build her. I made a couple of videos with her, but still at the end of the day, it's very underwhelming and inconsistent.
Wait a minute!
Strip reset. We strip, we get increased cooldown. We can kill now. Boom! The 2014 Noob Trap Acacias. I realized one thing about dungeon is that you want to kill the boss faster, not stay in the dungeon longer. Okay? So the shield, the anti-crit, great. But it's there to protect you, not to make your dungeon run faster. And you don't really need dungeon. You don't really need your GB10 team to be safe. You can run Lauren and Fran, and you can start doing 1 minute run nowadays with another 3 damage dealer. So don't do Acacias ever. Unless they put some sort of debuff in this skill, is not good. The dots, whatever. It used to be decent for giants because people were bad back in the days, like me and 2014 Summoner Sword player. We didn't know what to do, and we saw a great win support. Our GB10 run was 3-4 minutes, and we thought it was good because we had the cases, but then we realized that we need more damage and not more shield. So don't ever do this. This thing is bad, okay? You may see a pop-up an early game guide back in, like, I don't know, 2015, because you search on YouTube or Reddit or whatever. You may build her, you may 5-star her already. Don't, just don't. Save your skill up for the light one or the dark one. Don't build this thing. Wind Lich. I have a huge problem with Lich. That's why I had double Lukasha here, because I hated Lich. They're so bad, the AI is garbage. I built double Lich and I hated both of them in Necroby 10 because they will never use Deadly Touch. Even though I maxed the water one skill, I'm almost maxing the wind one. I changed my mind and I'm building the fire one. So much more worth it. Double Lich is so bad. They keep using default attack even though this skill can do so much damage. Until they fix Lich AI, I think Lich in Necroby 10 is like Yikes, bad, very bad, not worth it at all. Totally forgot about this guy in the fire department. This is debatable, but I would advise not to build him. The only thing good about him is the defense leader for raid. Not a lot of people run defense lead, but if you can build Ravidi for defense lead and cleansing for your team, I would recommend you building a Ravidi, because this guy has no damage. This skill does very shitty damage, and the buff more often than not would do harm to your team than protect your team, because you want actual healing. You don't want buff or healing over time in raid. The boss can strip it at any moment, and then he wastes a turn doing absolutely nothing. And he may even heal the boss because of the buff. His debuff is really good if you can max his skill. It takes so many Devilmon to max this guy. I use him in early game raid 5, but I ditch him very soon after. He's just bad, you know? It doesn't do anything. You know what's worse? People who bring Fangen in raid. That is worse. Please don't do it. If you bring this guy and not Fangen, I respect you, but you don't have to build him. And then he has no place in PvP whatsoever. He's not that great in Necroby 10 if you run Fran and Lauren. And he's not really that great in Wind Rift either, because you can run Bella and Colleen. He may have a spot in the Dark Rift, but do you really want to just 6-star a unit and occasionally use him in one spot? Not really, right? Put your resources somewhere else. He's not worth it. Even though he's free to play and everyone can get him, I wouldn't waste my time and resources farming whole magic mid for this guy. Nah, I don't recommend him at all. I think that's it for me. I have many other 6-star that I don't use, but I used them before and I respect their place in the game. For example, Ariel desperately need a buff, like a proper buff, not a healing buff. But if you use him with Olivia and Bulldozer in guild battle, that is like one of the best team ever. Really safe, and it will never lose. It's so good. But then it's so boring, so I can't use that. Actually, I think I should mention this guy. He's really bad, but I made a video just for him to show how bad he is. So I don't think I need to mention him here too much. And then yeah, I think that's about it. They serve their purpose, but the one that I mentioned, really don't invest into them. They're really bad. So that's it for my list. What do you guys think about the unit that I mentioned? Do you have a unit that you regret 6-starring so much that you have to bring it up in the comment section? Please feel free to do so. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.